Hey everybody, my name is Chris. I want to talk to you about prayer. Whether you're just starting your own prayer movement or whether you've actually been praying for a while and you want to go deeper, let's have a conversation. Now I want to share a couple of things up front that are just really simple and practical, but then I want to share with you one thing that kind of changed everything for me. But we're dealing with this question of when do I meet with God to pray? It's a really simple question, practical question, like a starter question. Well, I want to remind you of this, that prayer in its most fundamental definition is just building a relationship with God. And so when you're asking this question of when, you would do what you would do with any relationship. You'd pull out your calendar and you would look at it and go like, where do I have space? Where can I make this a priority? You know, for a lot of people in prayer, they find that's the first thing in the morning or the last thing in their day. And for some, it's both. It's whatever works for you. But listen, this brings us to a really important point. We're not just trying to fit God into our lives, into our busy schedule. We're not trying to shoehorn Him in between cluttered spaces. We want to give Him quality relational space because we want a quality relationship in return. We want to hear His voice. We want to experience His presence. We want to come to know Him. Well, to do that, you're going to need to set aside focused space in your life. Now, it doesn't have to be a large amount of time. It just has to be quality relational space. Now, if you find you have to sacrifice something to make that happen, well, that's normal. Because any good relationship in your life, probably you're making trades in your life so that you can have that relationship. And making trades simply means I said no to this and I said no to that so I could say yes to this. That's normal in relationship building, and we want to give God quality relational space because we want to experience Him and come to know Him. Now listen, here's the one thing that I kind of awakened to a few years ago, and it changed everything for me. I was listening to an interview. It was an interview with Joel Houston. He's a songwriter. They were touring the States. The reporter asked him, said, "What's been your favorite moment of the tour so far?" Joel said, "Well, listen, my favorite moment is always now, because that's the moment where God is available to me." And that arrested me. I stopped and I went like, wow, that was elegant. That was simple. That was spiritually powerful. It awakened me. It reminded me of something I really already believed, that God is available to me in every moment of now. I don't have to go get in my car, drive somewhere to find His presence. I don't have to wait for some kind of appointed time tomorrow to get in His presence. He's available now. In fact, everything I need to get into His presence, if I drew a circle around my feet, everything I need is inside of that circle. And so that impacted me. But listen, I can hear you over there. You're like, that's it, Chris? I mean, I kind of already knew that. I mean, God's omnipresent, right? So, I mean, clearly He would be available now. Well, you're right. I'm in the same boat. I really already believed that. But listen, sometimes important truths that can change our life are a little bit like a picture that you hang in the hallway. I hung it there 2 years ago, and I've walked by it dozens of times, but I've long since stopped noticing it. And what good is beauty hanging on the wall if I stop experiencing the beauty? Likewise, what good is it for me to believe that God's available to me in every moment that I call now if I actually stopped looking for Him in the present tense? That's what changed for me. I started looking for God in the present tense. Now listen, I didn't stop meeting with Him in private. I just started noticing Him throughout the course of my day. And so in answering the question, when do I meet with God to pray? Is it an appointed time that's consistent and rhythmical? Or is it organic throughout the course of my day? Well, it's both. You see, when I fight for God in private, when I have that dedicated space that's an appointed time, then I find that He then begins to show up in my public life. He begins to speak throughout the course of my day. Now, when that happens, and when that happens to you, here's what you know. Your prayer movement is graduating. You are gaining momentum in your personal life with God, and that's the whole point. That's the reason we would pray. We want to know Him. We want to experience Him. So listen, I hope that helps today, and I hope you'll start your own personal prayer movement or go deeper in it today. So thanks for joining me today, and I hope it was helpful. If so, then consider subscribing because we want to continue to make content, and we'll catch you on the next one.